Sometimes, whenever we have a bad day, all we want to do is just sit down and enjoy a light and heartwarming book. For me, that means a story about the bond between a toddler and a cat, mixed with the true struggles of raising an autistic child from the mother's perspective. Assalamualaikum and a fine morning to all the judges and fellow readers. My name is HANAN BINTI TAIB and I'm currently studying at SMK KABONG, the school code being YEA2202 in the class of 4 Amanah. Does the book that I described earlier sound specific? That book is When Fraser Met Billy, a non-fiction novel written by Louise Booth based on the true story of her life. This book is published by Holder and Stoughton and is 305 pages long. Ladies and gentlemen, in this book, Louise had a terrible pregnancy and difficult birth, lasting 3 whole days. After the birth, all Fraser, her newborn baby, would do is scream at the slightest change of routine. Chris, her husband, and both of their parents were worried about Louise and Fraser. Their family moved to the Balmoral estate, which is Queen Elizabeth's summer residence, where Chris had been hired to be the Queen's electrician. Louise then plummeted into depression, worn down by her son's constant needs. However, one of the positive impacts of moving there is that Fraser's condition finally gets diagnosed, and the family finally gotten the medical help they needed for Fraser. Fraser was diagnosed with autism at the very early age of 18 months. Like many boys with autism, he struggled to communicate and was prone to withdrawing into his own world. He was also capable of extreme emotional breakdown, often over the most seemingly trivial things. He also suffered from hypotonia, a rare muscle condition that made his joints loose and floppy. This meant that Fraser found it very difficult to perform simple functions like gripping things with his hands, walk, or even stand. He only started becoming more mobile at the age of 2 years old, largely thanks to the help of supporting splints he now wore on his lower legs and ankles. Worried about Fraser's lack of social skills, Louise contacted the D-side branch of Cats Protections that is organized by a woman named Liz. She presented the family with a few rescue cats, and Fraser ended up choosing a gray and white cat named Billy. Billy came home with the family and laid his paws across Fraser's lap. From that moment on, the two became almost inseparable, and slowly but surely, Billy transformed Fraser's life. Even when Fraser was having a meltdown, Billy didn't run away. Instead, choosing to stay and calm Fraser down, which worked. There was no denying that Billy was a positive and calming influence on Fraser. Breakthroughs began to happen, small to others, but to the family it was nothing short of a miracle. Then one day, Liz contacted the family for a favor. The charity wanted to raise awareness about the work it was doing and wanted to share some good stories about cats and people it had brought together. Liz was reminded of the instant bond Billy and Fraser formed and wanted to write a story on it on their official website. Thinking nothing of it, Louise agreed. What she didn't expect is for the Daily Mail, a national newspaper agency, to contact her saying they wanted to share Fraser's stories on the newspaper. A few months later, the article was published and began attracting positive attention, specifically regarding the relationship between pets and children and the stigma around autism. The rest of the story focused on Fraser's condition slowly improving, which brought the beginning of a normal life. Within 2 years of Billy joining the family, Louise watched her son evolve from being a toddler prone to anxiety, tantrums, and sudden emotional meltdowns to a much calmer and less moody child with a bright future. The moral of this story is that pets, to which in this case are cats, have a positive impact on a child's life. They can form a bond with children like Fraser unlike any other. Their calm nature are perfect for children that needs just the right amount of stimulation. Other than that, awareness regarding autistic behavior in children should be spread so that they can get the help they needed early on. One of the unique characteristics of this book that I like is that it offers us, the readers, a first-hand insight to autistic children's behavior and how to handle them. However, the book is a bit too short for me to fully enjoy the interesting narrative. Reading this book reminded me of my own cats, especially the ones that had been with me ever since I was a child myself. Reading this book makes me appreciate our feline friends more than ever. If you're looking for a light read involving cats and the challenges of raising an autistic child, this is it. That is all from me. Thank you for listening to my book review.